All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order, returning out of closed session at 6:05. And first action is actions taken in closed session.
On a 6-0 vote with Trustee Padberg absent, the board voted to approve a general leave with benefits for one semester to a classified employee to work in a temporary/interim academic position at Saddleback College. On a 6-0 vote with Trustee Padberg absent, the board voted to approve a general leave with benefits to a classified manager to fill a full-time academic position at Saddleback College. And finally, on a 6-0 vote with Trustee Padberg absent, the board voted to approve a 2-month unpaid general leave of absence with benefits to a classified employee at the district.
Thank you. Next, we have an invocation led by Trustee Lang, so if everyone could please stand, and then stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Trustee Milchiker.
Please join me. We ask for wisdom to help our board, our district, and leadership of both of our colleges make the best possible decisions that will enable us to serve our students and our communities in the best possible ways. We thank the talented faculty, classified staff, and all the employees employed by this district for their dedication and contributions that they provide to make this one of the best community colleges in the state. We extend our appreciation for the recent recognition that we have received by the governor in the form of what appears to be a reasonable budget to carry out our mission, and also to the president of our country for recognizing the importance of the community colleges. We thank all the members of the military, the police, firefighters, and those others who serve us at home and abroad, often at great personal risk. Thank you.
Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our great nation. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have recognitions or resolutions. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move to public comments. I have no polls or slips for that at this time. So then next we have item 3.1, oral reports, starting with the board. We'll start down there with Trustee Jay.
Yes, several of us went to a memorial for Dick Stutz, who had been here at the college for more than 35 years at Saddleback. He was the head baseball coach for 6 or 7 years at one point, served as the one of the assistant coaches on football for more than 35 years. And then took over near the end of his career as the full-time head football coach. Many of those seasons were very successful, and Dick Stutz was a major contributor to all of them. The memorial was very touching and appropriate, and we all gave our kudos and thanks to Dick Stutz. He passed away on December 30th, much to the saddened feeling of many of his colleagues. Thank you.
All right, Trustee Milchiker.
Yeah, I was able to attend many of the events at the Faculty Development Week, which formerly was called Flex Week. I think I mentioned why I like to attend so many of these when I can. Of course, they have them both at Saddleback College and Irvine Valley College simultaneously, so I have to choose carefully which ones I would like to attend. I had a friend that was a chancellor that decided to have office hours. So he had people come to him for office hours, and the people would come, and it would be like a gripe session. They'd be complaining about this or that or another thing. Instead of that, he decided to go out and catch people when they're working, when they're really achieving something, when they're doing something well and good, and then give them praise, give them support, prop them up, and help them in doing the jobs that they're supposed to do, and that's what he decided to do. So when I have an opportunity to go to Faculty Development Week, it's an opportunity to hear the administrators, the college presidents, the faculty members, the deans talk about their plans, their dreams, their feelings about what will be going on for the next semester at Saddleback or Irvine Valley College or ATEP. And I find it incredibly inspirational. I really enjoy it. So I attended both of the president's opening sessions, Saddleback College President Todd Burnett and Irvine Valley College President Todd Rockmore. They were both, I'm sorry, President Glenn Rockmore, excuse me. They were both excellent. I learned what their plans are for the coming year. I learned that Glenn Rockmore is very excited about ATEP. He feels that this is an opportunity to build a learning center that will probably focus on CTE, and we'll have one opportunity to set up this learning center the way with our hopes and dreams and the way we imagine it to be, and we want to get it right. So he's very excited about this, and got me excited too. Also, I heard from the Academic Senate presidents, from Kathy Schmeidler, and from, who are you? Dan? Dan Welsh, sorry about that, the geology professor, who always starts off with a picture of some fabulous, interesting place that he's been and talking about the location and what it means. And learned about what their feelings and dreams are for the year. I went to some of the what?
He asked where the timer went. I said,
is the time over?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, I have another 20 minutes to talk, but I won't. So you'll be relieved to say that. But I just wanted to tell you briefly. I attended the 3D printing workshop, which is really exciting. Some sabbatical workshops. Some meetings on the geek reports, and that's all. So they're very, very exciting things are going on in the colleges this semester, and I'm excited, and I hope you are too. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Wright.
Thank you very much, President. I did attend a number of faculty professional development week activities, starting first of all with, as Trustee Milchiker said, I attended the IVC's President's Breakfast and then the welcome. And it was well done, very well done. And I applaud them for all that they've done. I also attended, the one thing I attended was the College of the Future at ATEP and learned a little bit there. And thought that was very well done. I attended the following sessions at Saddleback College the next day, the Welcome Back Breakfast, the Enrollment Management Update. Finally, how Workday can improve your workday. We're getting some new software at the district level, and all of us are going to be having to use the Workday, and I thought that was very impressive. On Wednesday, I attended the Gearing Up for Accreditation Self-Evaluation here at Saddleback, and also the Accreditation Update at IVC. And then I attended the activities at Saddleback on Thursday, President's Faculty Breakfast and presentation of the Geek Report and so forth. Wonderful job. The other thing that I did this last month is I attended 3 basketball games at Saddleback College. Saddleback College has a wonderful basketball team. Their record right now is 22-2, so they're ranked very high in the state. I did attend Wednesday, January the 14th, the first of the President's Cup between IVC and Saddleback College. The women won from IVC and the men won from Saddleback. But the game was very, very close for the men. It was only 4 points, so it was a very close game. The semester has started, and I'm looking forward to a very exciting semester. Thank you.
Trustee Jamal.
Thank you. I, too, attended a number of functions, including the President's Faculty Breakfast here at Saddleback College, and also the part-time faculty dinner, there was a tremendous amount of energy in the room, and it was really a joy to be there. I think we had 175 or so, 200 part-time faculty in the room. Very impressive and impressive turnout, and I really think they are feeling more and more part of the community here, and we know how valuable they are, and it was great to see them. I attended over the weekend, albeit not as long as I would like, the IVC's Astounding Inventions Competition for K-8 students. What a fantastic event. And I actually had the opportunity to talk to one of the parents a couple of days ago who lives in Irvine, whose son, I think he's 10, received honorable mention, and it made his month. And anything we can do to inspire a young student like that to pursue a career in science, technology, engineering, math, the STEM fields, is wonderful. And I applaud the foundation for pulling it together on somewhat a short staff notice, and they did a tremendous job. I did attend last week the Orange County School Boards Association fiscal update. As Trustee Lang mentioned in his invocation, the governor's budget appears to be quite positive for K through 14, some $8 billion in additional funding, but it's early, and we'll see what happens after the May revise in May and what budget gets enacted hopefully by the end of June. And then finally, I'm pleased to announce that I've gone on the board of the Orange County School Boards Association. They've asked me to be the community college rep on the board, and we had our first board meeting last week, 2 weeks ago. Thank you.
Thank you. So I just want to welcome everyone back from break. I hope it was relaxing and recharging and ready to go. I know you guys got a little longer than I did, and that's nice. Breakfast at IVC, President's Breakfast, I was able to attend that. And then I was also able to attend the Faculty Association luncheon, where we got a presentation regarding the accreditation process and how it's been so used, I'm going to be nice, up in San Francisco, and some potential support resolutions that could come out of that. Then we also had the President's Cup. I really should have put a little more teeth into my proposal that was going to be a close game between the men's teams, because I was told it was going to be a 15-point spread, and it came down to a 3-pointer. So I was right. And then it'll be interesting to see how that second round comes up. And then the Astounding Inventions again was there. Oh, do I need to explain that? They're up by 2. Came down, missed the 3-pointer. If they had made it, IVC would have won by 1 point. Anyway, so with that, Trustee Lang.
Thank you. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend many of the Flex Week sessions. I was fortunate enough to attend the Saddleback College President's Classified Lunch, and it was great to see so many folks and celebrate their accomplishments and their excitement at the start of a new semester. I mentioned in my opening invocation about the recent attention that community colleges have received, and with the President's proposal for making the first 2 years free. Although I'm also sensitive to our students' financial situation, I must say that I'm opposed to that particular proposal, except in the case of extreme financial exigency. In my experience, the value of something free is never fully appreciated, and I at least believe that having a little skin in the game is necessary for that reason. I also think the effect of this proposal will exacerbate some of the current difficulties that some students are presently experiencing in obtaining needed classes, and possibly create some financial burdens for the system as a whole, and believe there could be some other unintended negative consequences as well. I suspect, however, that given the current dynamics in Washington, we'll probably never have an opportunity to find out, since I think this proposal has very little likelihood of enactment. Thank you.
Student Trustee Carrillo?
Nothing to report at this time. Thank you.
You did have a good break. Okay. Chancellor's report.
Okay, discussion item tonight, 4.1, is another one that has arisen as a result of the board listening sessions last spring. This one is on a topic that was brought up by classified employees, and the issue was the replacement of full-time classified employees on their departure with several maybe part-time classified employees. So there'll be a report tonight by Dr. Bouguet on that, explaining that dynamic. On another topic, new legislative session has begun. We're in the first of 2 years of a 2-year legislative session, and bills are now being introduced. The legislators have until the end of February to submit their bills. We've already submitted input on a dual enrollment bill that will be introduced by Assemblyman Holden. Last year we provided input on 120 bills. So as the legislative process goes through, we're actively engaged in the process, and we get a lot of questions from our lobbyists about input for various bills, and we do our best to provide that input on a timely basis. The college presidents obtain information that is college-based from whatever department is involved. We have some changes in state and federal representation now as a result of the election. Pat Bates, who is a former supervisor, is now our state senator. Our past state senator, Mimi Walters, is now a U.S. congressional representative. And we have 2 new assembly members, Bill Brow and Matthew Harper, and we're looking forward to engaging with them and letting them know what we're doing in their districts.
Thank you. And next we have our, where did I got lost here on the agenda. College President's Report. Who would like to go first?
Okay. I will launch off here. First of all, I'd like to thank our board president for coming to the Astounding Inventions and giving actually 2 speeches, because we've had to split the event, the awards, into 2 parts. And also Trustee Jamal coming as well. Missed me because I had sick family that I was dealing with back and forth, but I was there. It was really an amazing thing that happened. We had a perfect storm. We had our key donor that gives the pro bono patent searches drop out. They did so because it was really run by their 2 main partners who have retired back into the firm, and so we lost that. The other thing is that the ringleader in the K-12s, Mark Sontag, decided to retire from Irvine Unified, and where our executive director of the foundation vacated his position. So all of those 3 things made this program very hard to pull together. But I have to say that the IVC staff really pulled together from all corners to finally make that happen. So we now have Kenobi, Martins, Olson, and Bear to replace them. They're patent search attorneys, and everything is smooth. IBC Faculty Development Week. I want to thank those who came on a non-faculty development week day, which happened to be Monday. But we did have great participation that day, and I appreciate everybody who did come. And again, President Prendergast did provide a welcome, and Trustee Wright was there, as well as Trustee Milchiker. I appreciate that very much. A couple of quick things. As was mentioned, the second half, and I apologize, I don't know how I missed the first game. Something occurred, I don't know what it was. But I'm sorry I was not there. But the President's Cup will be held on February 6th, and with the men's game at 5 p.m. and women's game at 7 p.m. So if you can make that, that would be terrific. And then the last thing, our student ambassadors are an incredible group of people. They're putting on a talent show. It's called Your Amazing Talent Show. It's going to be February 2nd, Performing Arts Center from 7 to 8:30. And I understand there may be some people in this room tonight who will be participating as a contestant. So, thank you.
All right. President Burnett.
Certainly isn't me. Anyway, the reason we actually weren't there, Dr. Rockmore, is because you and I both were not here. We were on vacation still when the President's Cup, so don't feel bad. No, none of us were. And thank you, trustees, that were attending the big game. With that said, it's been a wonderful start of the spring semester at Saddleback College. And once again, thank you to our wonderful faculty, staff, and administrators and managers for the great work that they do. Professional Development Week, once again, thank you all for attending. As you know, this is when each winter, or spring, we divulge the 2014 Innovation and Leadership Award recipients for faculty, staff, and management. We'll present those to you at a later time. Also, it was already mentioned by Trustee Jamal that a big highlight this semester was the part-time faculty dinner, which had over 200 people, over 175 part-time faculty. It was by far the largest and most successful training and dinner that we've ever had for part-time faculty. And thanks again to our Academic Senate, Dr. Patty Flanagan, and others. As you also heard, we did give an update on our 4 priorities for Saddleback, which are enrollment management, student success, economic and workforce development, and K through 12 partnerships. Very exciting. You've heard emails probably from both colleges, but this week is a big week for our district, I believe. Beginning on this Wednesday, 2 days from now, at the Newport Beach Marriott Hotel, is the American Association of Community Colleges annual National Workforce Development Institute. Both Saddleback and IVC are host colleges, along with Long Beach City College. And we will be part of the opening plenary session on Wednesday at 4:30 p.m., and I encourage you all to attend. If you'd like some more information, tickets, otherwise, please give my office a call, and we'll arrange that for you. Or you can talk to Dr. Don Boucher, who is managing it for our college campus. With that said, I look forward to seeing the second half of the President's Cup. It's 1-1 right now. So on February 6th, it seems like it always comes down to the very last game. So hopefully it won't be as exciting as what happened at the men's game at this last time. But look forward to seeing everybody at IVC on February 6th at 5 p.m., correct? Thank you.
Sure.
I need to make a correction. Actually, in addition, I forgot to mention that Gary Portner and Adair did attend Astounding Inventions, and they had a great time, and it was a joy being with them. Sorry I left you out of that.
He was in disguise.
Yeah.
T-shirt. I'm wearing a tie. All right. Associated Student Governments. We have someone here. It's great to see you.
Good evening, distinguished member Board of Trustees. Well, besides having a good and rechargeable break, I have to say that our Associated Student Government had a fruitful semester during the fall of 2014, and we are excited to embark on another productive semester this year. We have so far a wonderful start. We started our homecoming election last week, and the election will be open, I believe, until tomorrow. And because of our productive stand on promoting the homecoming court, we have overwhelmed participation from the students compared to last year. We have, I think, about 30 or 32 participation. So those who will win the homecoming king and queen will receive IFC scholarship. We still are committed to provide ongoing education and training for our SIVC student leaders to promote institutional effectiveness, and will continue to work towards improvement of student activity and participation in campus and outreach events, and we will continue our support for our vibrant, effective student government by enhancing teaching and learning environment and governance process. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And board requests for reports, seeing none. No sheet submitted this meeting. We'll go ahead and move to 4.1, full-time, part-time classified employee information presentation.
Good evening. I'm David Begay, your Vice Chancellor of Human Resources, Employer-Employee Relations. We're going to talk tonight about classified staff and some changes that have taken place in the last 5 years. Pretty much human resources, we handle changes like that by working closely with the CSEA, the employees themselves, but especially with the colleges, because most of these changes have happened because of changing needs at the colleges. So with that, it's going to limit itself to only the area of the classified bargaining unit in full-time and part-time permanent positions, which is a very specific legal term. There's other types of classified employees that are short-term hourly employees and are district employees anywhere from 950 to 1,100 of them per year. So that's not part of the bargaining unit. They're temporary employees only. But that said, some of the changes that happened, and you'll see this coincide specifically with the impacts of the recession on the state itself. But beginning in about 2008, we had a lot of categorical program funds were cut by the state, and that required a review of numerous classified positions by the colleges and district services. At the same time, the state implemented something called workload reduction, which, because of the way we're funded, didn't affect us directly, except it did impact about whether or not we could grow as a district. So with limited growth opportunities and the different changes in the state, including the impact of categorical program cuts, we went through and had another major change in 2013. We provided a wonderful benefit for it's called the Supplemental Early Retirement Program, and from that we had 37 classified staff leave. Now, good for them, and it might have been good for us, except we lost some fabulous employees in that process. But it did give the colleges a wonderful chance, too, to take a look at what are we doing with classified positions. And they took their time. They reassessed what happened, what they wanted to use the positions for. They shifted. They changed hours. They changed months of service. We went through many reclassifications. We moved people from full-time to part-time when the positions became vacant, not people, but rather positions. And a couple times we moved part-timers to full-timers, or we moved a position or the funding for the position from one area to the next, a different area. It just depended upon the needs of the college. Why position review? Well, things changed due to curriculum changes, student needs, program needs, adding classes in one area and less classes in another. And that'll result in a need for less support in one area, increased support in another. So it provides a process to really improve the support for students. It is very rare that we had any changes happen with a person in a job except for a reclassification. Almost all changes in positions were accomplished during vacancies and also after consultation with CSEA. But you'll see here, this chart here, this one slide probably shows you the biggest changes that we've had in the district. From 2009 to 2014, the actual classified bargaining unit positions increased 11%. From 455 positions to 504. And then the full-time positions, even though we did have some changes, they increased by 6%. And then the part-times, even though the percentage is really high, you'll see we went from 57 positions to 81. So overall, the biggest number to know was that the full-time positions did increase. Did we increase the part-time positions? Yes. And then if you look, did we actually change? Did full-time positions morph into part-time positions? Actually, there were 29 of them where we went through and we made changes to them. And a lot of them, for instance, you're seeing these 4 bullet points were actual examples that the board's seen on the board agendas over time. We moved a 40-hour position to 29-hour at a higher range. We've moved 12-month positions to a 10-month position. We've moved 10 months to 12 months. We've done multiple things. Even like on tonight's agenda, there's a couple, two 20-hour positions in different departments. We'd split that. We went from 2 20-hour positions to 1 40-hour positions. We've had changes. The 29, the bulk of them have been full-time to part-time positions. But overall, it's provided a way for flexibility to manage students and services for student success. The other part, too, is if you look at the second bullet point on this one over here, the cost of a benefit package for a classified employee is $22,994 a year. That's a lot of money. When it comes down to positions and looking at an opportunity to save that kind of money, really to be a responsible public employer, we need to take a look at that so we're accountable to the taxpayers at the end of the day. Is that a trend? Well, if you look at the different growth, 6% increase overall for full-time classified positions in the last 5 years, really that may not be a trend to shift a lot of positions, but we have done some. By making those changes, the presidents and the deans and the vice presidents, they have a lot of flexibility. When you move a full-time to a part-time position, for example, if you have a person that works 20 hours a week and another one that works 20 hours a week, if somebody gets ill in the office, all of a sudden now you have two people to ask to fill in that void. So by going part-time, you have opportunities. Instead of a 140-hour position that works 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, if that position were split to two 20-hour positions, they could both work on some of the critical days, such as Monday through Thursday, to better serve students and actually expand services for students. So every area is going to be different, and as a district, we provide the administration the ability to make flexibility as needed. The impact on service to students, we left many vacancies. They're reassessed and reallocated by the colleges to really better meet the student needs. Generally, changes in our classified bargaining unit provide a broader range of services, more focused at the times and services needed for students. So future changes, there will be some, and you'll see the flexibility in the board agenda as I come forward. We have the Student Success and Support Program. We have the Student Equity Plan. We're going to have some additional categorical funds. We anticipate that the trend to increase part-time, full-time, and part-time classified positions will continue, but even then you'll see it's at a moderated level. So with that, the presidents and myself stand ready to answer any questions by the board on this issue.
I have a request to speak from Trustee Jamal.
Thank you, Vice Chancellor Begay. I think this report was an outgrowth of the listening sessions that we had a few months ago. And I'm just I'm wondering, my recollection is that this issue of the situation where perhaps part-time faculty were or part-time employees were being hired in situations where it was formerly a full-time employee. My recollection is this came up more of an issue at Irvine Valley College than at Saddleback College. So do you have any differentiation of the data that you presented here between Saddleback College and IVC?
I didn't separate it with that perspective on. I could provide the data at a later time. There have been some changes. They've been more shifting positions as needed. They went through, like in the division offices, there's been a plan change to go from 2 senior administrative positions to 1 senior administrative position that would handle budget, and then an administrative position which actually be lower pay but handle other duties besides budget. So there's been some conscious shifting to better meet the student needs. But that said, I'm not certain that there's been a significant change of those 29 positions that we mentioned, if that's really focused on IVC or not. But I'll be able to provide a report at a later date.
Yeah, I think that'd be helpful since my recall, I don't know if the Chancellor recalls, but I think it was more of an issue raised at IVC. And my impression of the report you presented is that what you're saying is, there's not a policy in human resources to hire part-time employees when a full-time employee leaves, that there are a number of factors that are considered: student services, of course, budget resources, which you acknowledge is a concern, certainly a concern of the boards. Is that a fair assessment?
Oh, absolutely. Pretty much the decisions whether or not to change a position, once a position opens up, the supervisor really has an obligation to go through and look and see, does that position meet the current needs of the area, and then to make recommendations on that. So often the position may sit there vacant, or they may sit there and consider what to do with it for a month or even 2 months before they actually put a form in. For the most part, human resources functions at the needs of the college. So when it's a matter of, we provide advice to the college, but the decision as to how the positions are structured is really a college decision. If it's district services, obviously that's where the decision resides, but we're pretty much providing support for the colleges on the positions. Also, anytime a position becomes vacant and we make an alteration to it, I have a contractual obligation to sit down with the leadership of CSEA and have a pretty open discussion. And frankly, they express themselves in no uncertain terms on a regular basis about their concerns about that issue of losing a position or losing the benefit package. But you'll see overall, it's hard to argue when we have a 6% steady annual growth of positions, growing from 2009 to 2014. So. Thank you.
Yeah, and I just wanted to stress that last point you made is the concern that we were getting, and I wasn't able to attend, but I certainly got the information that, the elephant in the room is you were taking every opportunity to condense, get rid of full-time positions and create part-time positions to save the district money. And so we just wanted to be very clear to the public and to CSEA in particular that hopefully that concern has been addressed, and that it sounds like what we're hearing is that the colleges make recommendations, as to borrow Kathy Smigler's, trust the process, that it went through vetting and with CSEA and everybody. So anyone who has those concerns, hopefully, those have been addressessed. Thank you.
I think the slide I put it on just now, 11% overall increase in 5 years, that's big. And we went from 455 to 504 positions. The full-timers increased 6%, and you'll see a 25 position increase in that 5-year period. And then you'll see certainly a 42% really is a scary percentage number, but when it comes down to the actual physical positions change, that's not very many, 57 to 81. So there's a trend there, but it's a small trend. Okay. So anybody else?
Anybody else? No other? Oh, Trustee Jay?
Yeah, I just want to say the tremendous amount of work and why this place operates and IVC operates and the new ATEP campus operates is because of classified people. Mm-hmm. Believe me, when the heating goes out, they're the people you call. When the buildings need painting, they're there. When the plumbing breaks down, they're there. No matter what happens, and large numbers of technical positions and so forth in the classrooms where they give direct assistance to classroom teachers and particularly in labs. They run the labs here. They make out the lists of stuff that has to be ordered for the buildings to operate. They just do a tremendous amount of work. I'll never forget one night, many, many years ago, it was the opening night that we opened the Fine Arts Building on Saddleback. Okay? About 15 minutes into the performance, it was a very hot night. It was about 102, as it gets in Mission Viejo occasionally. And the air conditioning went out. Well, Monty Labonte, by the way, the house that Monty built is the Fine Arts Building. He did a lot to do that. I don't know how many of you remember Monty, but he was a wonderful guy, and he worked terribly well with the classified. You can't imagine the number of people it takes in a fine arts program to put on a play. You've got to have all kinds of technicians there, lighting specialists, carpenters, incredible amount of work. Anyway, the air conditioning went out. Well, needless to say, here it was, the opening night. We had, 400 plus people, whatever the Fine Arts Theater would hold, who are all mad as HELL, frankly. And we got some classified people in there. Unfortunately, we never got the air conditioning to operate until about the last 20 minutes of the performance. But the next night and the next night and the next night, because most of our presentations last for several weeks, it was operating the next night, and they were right there. And sometimes you get company technologists who had provided the equipment, but also the classified who had to keep the stuff working. They did a wonderful job. They continue to do a wonderful job. And it doesn't matter whether it's lawns being mowed or whatever, they're there. And so I just want to give my thanks and congratulations to the great job that the classified employees do. IVC, here, ATEP, and they just do an incredible amount of work and keep this place operating. Thank you.
That's certainly the truth.
All right.
Okay.
Seeing no other requests to speak, we'll go ahead and move on to 5.0. Consent calendar items. Do I have any polls? Trustee Wright.
Yeah, 5.2, 5.3, 5.6 and 5.11. Just a couple.
What was the last one? I'm sorry.
5.11.
Okay. Trustee Lang. 5.2, 5.3, 5.6, 5.11. 5.14. Seeing no other requests for polls, do I need to formally pull 5.16 since it was full revision? Just to make sure to point that out.
You can. There's a replacement page that
Right.
I provided to everybody.
We'll do that. So I will have a motion for the balance of the consent calendar. I have a motion from Trustee Lang, a second from Trustee Jamal. Go ahead and vote on the balance of the consent calendar. We have 6 unanimous yes votes, 1 trustee absent, and 1 student advisory yes vote. So 5.2, Trustee Wright.
I certainly support 5.2 and 5.3. Just a couple of minor corrections. One on 5.2, the number of hotel rooms you have is 4. When you add 2, 1, and 2, it's 5. That was just a small correction. And then on 5.3, because I'd like to consider them both together,
Well, okay.
or we can do it.
Well, no, he can make a motion to do them together.
And 5.3, I was just concerned about the cost of hotel rooms. They're staying in Nevada, and it's $900 for 3 nights. That's $300 a night. That's pretty expensive for a hotel room in Nevada.
Not in Vegas.
Well, I just
Who's responsible for this item?
just concerned.
Do we have...
We can look into that and ask the program for
Right,
the information on the Nevada item.
right.
As for the first item with the 2 faculty, I know that they're intended to have 2 faculty attend, but
Right.
it will be 1 person, Stephen Rochefort, who will be joining that group.
Right.
So it is indeed 4 on the first item. That you
4
mentioned.
rooms?
4 rooms.
Because it says 2, 3, 4.
They were
says-
trying to get a second faculty member, but
Oh.
it actually will be 1 faculty member.
Okay.
So then we do need to do these separately? Do we need to table 5.3 until we get the information?
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay. So,
Quick question.
okay, Trustee Lang would like to speak on one of the 2.
I had questioned these for a little different reason, and that was that I noticed that in both of these items, there was no food provision for the faculty members, which struck me as being a little bit odd, and so I had folks look into that, and you might want to relay the reasons for that.
These are generally extracurricular events that the faculty offer for enrichment of students, special events. So there is not necessarily a line item in the college budget to support those kinds of programs. They tend to do most of that either through grants from the Associated Student Government and by fundraising. And admittedly, our faculty are so gracious that not only in this program but in others, they pay a portion of it out of their pocket.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it just struck me as not being very fair that we're absorbing the cost for all these, all these students. It's for their benefit that the faculty members accompany it. I think we want them to accompany the students. I think we ought to cover their food costs, frankly. So, just a personal.
Maybe that's why it was hard to get 2 faculty members to go. Trustee Jamal.
Okay, so we're covering this item pretty thoroughly.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
The only other point that I'll make on 5.3 was under the, which I just noticed, under the lodging item down below where it has $900 per room for 3 nights, which would be $2,700, but it's showing as $1,800 across. So once again, not quite adding up.
I
We
think
will
that's
double
two.
check. Yes, we will
I think
double
that's
check.
2 rooms at $900. The $900 is for 3 nights.
Okay.
So we're covering the
Not
same
clear. It's not clear.
extensively.
Yes.
I guess I'm just reading through. I did read through this in advance. The way Dr. Rockmore, I'm reading this is the hotel rooms that Trustee Wrights mentioned are not out of general fund budget. They're out of foundation and other budgets. Correct.
Correct.
So we're not paying for it.
That's correct. That's right.
Okay. So it's not something we have control over necessarily if they're funding it. So the general funds are used to pay for travel expenses, like getting to Nevada and to and from Nevada.
Yes, it can be.
That's the way it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not
Thanks.
always the case, but it can be.
In this instance, that's what's
Yeah.
happening.
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Seeing no more requests to speak? Both of them together? Together. All right. I have a motion to approve 5.2 and 5.3 together, and a second. Seeing no more discussion, we'll go ahead and vote on the item. A unanimous yes vote, 1 trustee absent, and 1 student advisory yes vote. 5.6 was also pulled by Trustee Wright.
My question on this has to do with landscaping for Lot 9, Lot 10, and the fine arts and parking area. I'm just wondering what's involved, what's the scope of work?
We have our director here, John Azurvich.
Yeah.
Good evening. John Azurvich, Director of Facilities, Saddleback. The main focus of this project is there's a slope in between fine arts and the library that's bare at this time. And it's obviously like nights like tonight. We get mud flowing down the pathways and sometimes even into the classrooms. And then the lots 9 and 10 is to remove a lot of the existing shrubbery and replace it with drought-tolerant type planting. We thought that was important, particularly with the drought that California is currently experiencing.
Right. Well, my concern here is I notice there's some bare spots around the science math building.
If you want to come out Saturday, help me plant some. I'll be more than happy to help you.
If you make it in 2 weeks, I'll be there. I'll be out of town this Saturday. But there are some bare spots around the science math building.
There is.
So you mentioned the slope. The slope is there too. So I was just concerned. I just wanted to know what the scope of work was for 9 and 10 and fine arts. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Trustee Jamal, second from Trustee Wright for 5.6. Seeing no further requests to speak, we'll go ahead and vote on the item. Unanimous yes vote, 1 trustee absent, and 1 student advisory yes vote. Next we have 5.11, also pulled by Trustee Wright.
The reason I pulled that is I was looking through and I didn't see the president's signature on this.
I didn't see the president's signature either. I also didn't see our vice chancellor's signature on her page when I was looking through it as well. And what's funny is it was back in October, so I'm not sure how this happened. Oh, maybe Deborah does.
Actually, we worked with the department, the Dean of Fine Arts, to make sure that the contract was in order, and we always make sure that the signatures are after board approval are all there before we move forward. So we do get those signatures.
Thank you. Second.
We have a motion from Trustee Lang, second from Trustee Wright. Seeing no further requests to speak, we'll go ahead and vote on the item. Unanimous yes vote, 1 trustee absent, and 1 student advisory yes vote. Then we have Trustee Lang pull 5.14.
Yes, I have no problem with 514 and intend to move for its approval. However, my comment here was I think that rather than this being an item that comes to us every July and January, twice a year, we could probably approve the institutional memberships at the beginning of the fiscal year, and then to the extent that there are changes later on, those changes could be brought to the board. That would seem to be a much more efficient way to handle this item.
We would
Okay.
we would love to explore that. The report that happens in January is often very confusing to do,
Yes.
and it's hard to read. And we're reviewing our reports anyway with our workday projects. So there's many districts that do it that way, as you just described. And we'll take a look at seeing if we can't do something along those same lines.
Okay. In the meantime, I'll move this for approval.
Okay, motion from Trustee Lang, second from Trustee Jamal. Seeing no further requests to speak, we'll vote on the item. Unanimous yes vote, 1 trustee absent, 1 student advisory yes vote. In 5.16, pulling on the formality that it has been completely revised from our electronic agenda that we received.
Move approval.
I have a motion from Trustee Lang, motion from Trustee Wright, or second from Trustee Wright. If I can get a quick explanation of the significant changes between the two versions, just for public information.
Yes. If you take a look at the recommendation, the amount of the amendment number 4 has been changed to $35,932.50 for a revised contract amount of $2,700,932.50. So those $2 amounts were changed from the previous version.
Thank you. Seeing no further requests to speak, we'll go and vote on the item. Unanimous yes vote, 1 trustee absent, and 1 student advisory yes vote. That concludes the consent calendar. We'll move on to 6.0 general action items. And with that, we are on 6.1, which I have to recess the meeting temporarily, or adjourn the meeting to then open a public session. So we're now at a board agenda item 6.1, public hearing for Saddleback College General Plant Energy Services contract. Before we have that public hearing, Vice Chancellor Deborah Fitzsimmons will provide an introduction.
Yes. This agenda item 6.1 pertains to a public hearing to allow the district to enter into a contract for an energy services contract pursuant to the requirements of California Government Code 4217. This code permits public agencies to enter into an energy services contract on terms that its governing body determines are in the best interests of the public agency. This process entails using a formal request for a proposal process, an RFP process, as well as after approval for the use of this approach, each project is then presented to the board on its own merit and relative project-specific findings. We then have 2 other accompanying agenda items. Agenda item 6.2, which authorizes the district on behalf of Saddleback College to enter into an energy services contract. So we have authorization to enter into the contract. And then agenda item 6.3, which approves the energy services contract with Southland Industry for the Central Plant Phase 2 upgrade services. We have tonight also, Brandy Delana is not here, but we do have Facilities Director Johnny Azurovich, as well as Vice President Administrative Services Carol Hilton, who also can answer any questions that you might have at this time.
Okay, so does the board have any questions to staff or our consultants to assist with their understanding of this matter? Not yet. Members of the public.
I'll move the item.
Oh, we're not there yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay, seeing no questions, board item 6.1, public hearing on the matter at hand is now open. So this is when anyone from the public would like to make comments, not to exceed 5 minutes. Okay, the public hearing is now closed. All right. Chancellor Portner, we don't have any responses, so is there any further discussion on this matter by the board?
No, there isn't.
We have now concluded 6.1. We'll now move to 6.2 to adopt resolution number 15-01, authorization to enter into an energy services contract for the Saddleback College Central Plant Phase 2 upgrade services. I need a motion and a second, please.
So move.
I have a motion from Trustee Lang and a second from Trustee Jay. Seeing no requests to speak, we will do a roll call vote on this item. Caught you off guard on that one, didn't I?
Trustee Jay.
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker.
Aye.
Trustee Wright.
Aye.
Trustee Jamal.
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast.
Aye.
Trustee Lang.
Thank you. So I will then sign that document. Now that the authorization is approved, we may move to approve the last item for the Saddleback College Energy Services contract. This is item 6.3, South Orange County Community College District Saddleback College Central Plant Phase 2 Upgrade Services, Award of Energy Services Contract to Southland Industries for the amount of $1,340,000. I need a motion and a
So move.
second again. Okay, got a motion from Trustee Jay, a second from Trustee Wright, and a request to speak from Trustee Lang.
Yes, I thought I would maybe share a little bit from what I learned about this item. The one thing that was, I guess, causing me some concern was the fact that this does wind up being a fixed income contract, but it looks like there's, as best as I could tell, I was never able to figure it out exactly, in the Exhibit C copy of the contract under Article 4, where it talks about what the terms of the contract were, it looked like there was some possibility that with change orders the cost of this contract could go up. And, of course, the concern with that would be is if the contract went up high enough, it could obviate the savings, which is required in order for us to move forward with this item. So I think I felt reasonably assured through my discussions that that wouldn't happen, and that the size of any change orders would not exceed the magnitude of the energy savings involved here, which is why I'm find myself being able to support this item.
All right, thank you. Seeing no other requests to speak, we will do another roll call vote.
Trustee Jay.
Aye.
Trustee Jamal.
Aye.
Trustee Lang.
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker.
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast.
Aye.
Trustee Wright.
Aye.
And Student Trustee Carrillo.
All right, so now we'll move on to 4, sorry. The CCCT Board of Directors nominations. Do we have any? Anybody jumping out wanting to do that?
No, I'm just asking the process here. Are we supposed to, nominate a peer on the board? Is that how it works?
You could.
I was going to ask if there were any members of the
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That-
serving on this august body.
Yes. And typically, we have the opportunity to nominate from this board, and then other boards are doing that as we speak this week, probably, if they didn't do it last week, and we will get a flood of letters in our mail from people hoping we will vote for them. Obviously, we would love to support one of our own, but if no one really wants to do it, it looks like we have no nominations to speak of. Great. Moving on to 6.5, appointment of trustee representatives for 2015. You might remember at our retreat, one of the things we decided was it would be nice if we had a trustee as a member of each of the foundations. And we never really kind of formalized that, and now we're doing that. So if I have anybody that would like to be nominated, Trustee Lang, I assume you're going to ask the same question, or are you?
I was going to ask the same question, but in addition to that, I wanted to get clarification that when we say advisory representative, that does mean that this person would not vote on foundation board matters. Is that correct?
Yeah, it would be a conflict of interest.
Right. Agreed. Okay.
So anybody wishing to sit on either of these foundations, I believe currently, Trustee Jamal, you are in that role with IVC.
Correct.
So we could formalize that if you're enjoying that tremendously. And we have Trustee Padberg is on Saddlebacks, but we could certainly entertain someone else taking on that role.
I guess I would be inclined to support the current trustees that are serving in that capacity and would put their names in motion to serve in these positions again if they're still interested. Obviously, we don't know about
I
trustees.
support that.
Okay. As long as you're not withdrawing your name, it looks like you're in.
Happy to.
Roommate law and Trustee
it's
Padberg,
been
she
very.
gets it 'cause she's not here to say no.
It's been pretty informal, so this is, I think, somewhat formalizing
Right.
it. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll then entertain a motion for that suggestion. All right, Trustee Lang moves and Trustee Jay seconds. Seeing no further requests to speak, we'll go ahead and vote on the item. Unanimous yes vote, one trustee absent, and student advisory yes vote. Moving on to 6.6, approval of work order for information technology services, Neudesic, LLC. It's a familiar name.
All right. So item 6.6, just to go over what this item really is. 2 months ago, a master agreement was presented to the board for board approval for Neudesic on a time and materials basis for 5 years. There wasn't a maximum price on that contract because projects would be assigned as work was identified through the basic aid approval process, et cetera, through district IT. What this does before you is provide a work order. So as projects were assigned, and this is one example of a project assigned, we have a work order attached with the dollar amount so you can see by project what is happening under this contract for transparency purposes and so the board can understand how much we're assigning. And Vice Chancellor Bob Murici also can provide additional information on this particular scope of work.
The implementation of the Workday human capital management and financial software has required several key IT personnel to be pulled from their normal duties and placed full-time on that project. This is to ensure that their normal daily operational duties are not forgotten or nor shirked.
Okay.
Second.
Motion from Trustee Lang, second from Trustee Jamal. Seeing no request to speak, we'll go ahead and vote on the item. Unanimous yes vote, one trustee absent, one student advisory yes vote. 6.7, board policy revision on matriculation for discussion and approval.
No changes.
No changes since the review.
Second.
Motion from Trustee Lang, second from Trustee Wright. Seeing no request to speak, we'll vote on the item. Unanimous yes vote, one trustee absent, one student advisory yes vote. 6.8, board policy revision for nursing program, public safety camera system for review and study.
I do want to point out that there are 2 board policies here in your packet for review and study, one of which is the public safety cameras.
Right.
As you recall, the board had high interest in this particular item and had even asked for a previous written report and presentation. So for informational purposes, we have supplied to the board members also the administrative regulation that was just recently passed by Chancellor's Council in January. So you have that for additional information as you look at the board policy that you have here tonight.
Second.
Motion from Trustee Lang and second from Trustee Jamal for acceptance for review and study. It is important to note out that this is all fresh ground. This is built from
Right.
scratch.
Right, exactly.
Very good. All right. Seeing no other requests to speak, we'll go ahead and vote on the item. We have a unanimous yes vote, one trustee absent, and a student advisory abstention. All right, 6.9, approval of agreement for the HR financial system software project.
This
Move approval.
I have a motion to approve from Trustee Jay, second from Trustee Lang.
I
Go
just
ahead.
wanted to say that this agreement is for budget development software that will be supporting the overall HR financial system software project that has been underway this last year. We're now entering into the second phase of the project where we're working on the financial side. We went on a soft go live on the HCM side, which consists of HR, benefits and payroll, and working out some kinks and officially going live with the entire district very, very soon. And the next phase is underway, of which this is a component.
So this is related to when we switched over from outside contractors handling our finances to doing it internally, correct?
This is actually software license agreement in which we will have a component that Workday does not have currently in its total solution, which is to develop the budget. So, for instance, our district services office, folks like our controller, Kim McCord, and folks in that office, both David Kachatrian and Carol Hilton, the vice presidents of administrative services, and all the various people who have to develop the budget and provide worksheets to that department that is manual right now and or using our old system of charms, this will handle all that. So we'll be implementing this system to support Workday project because we'll be able to load information from Workday to Tidemark, develop the budget on this external system, and integrate it back. And it's one of those systems that works actively, interactively, and seamlessly with the Workday product.
Move approval.
Trustee Lang.
Yes, this is another agenda item that I spoke at length with Vice Chancellor Deborah about.
Trustee Lang, your microphone.
Pardon me. Oh, am I not speaking into it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. While I support this project, I guess the one item that was giving me a bit of heartburn on this was that this is software that we will not own. It's a subscription software, so we will continue to have to pay a very sizable fee, even beyond the initial term of this. But apparently it does add significant capability. There's really no other product out there, at least that we're aware of, that has the same kind of capability, and it will give our financial folks a lot of extra tools, and that they have substantially reworked the Tidemark standard contract to put in language that is favorable for our district. So on that basis, I've decided that it seems to be a worthwhile item to support.
All right. Seeing no further requests to speak, go ahead and vote on the item. Unanimous yes vote, 1 trustee absent, 1 student advisory yes vote. 6.10, academic personnel actions.
No changes.
No changes.
Second.
I have a motion approved from Trustee Lang, a second from Trustee Jay. I did have a question on this myself, and maybe some others notice this. Two parts to this. One is I believe we've had a request for clarification on the stipends, how we've seen duplicates. We've seen names listed twice, and the job description of what they're getting the stipend for in many cases looks very similar. So it gives the impression of double dipping or for what have you. So we were asking for a report, maybe going back a little while. What's the process for getting the stipend? Is it something they're getting extra to do, or is it on top of the regular job duty? So we'll hopefully get that. I believe Trustee Jamal asked for that. And then just want clarification on the exhibits where it says the approximate salary placement. it lists Roman numeral 2-1 or 2/1, 2/1, 5/1. If I'm reading that correctly, that's where they would be placed on the academic salary schedule. Is that correct?
Yes.
So the difference between 5/1 is $73,000 to $60,000. It's a pretty broad range, as well as it doesn't indicate anywhere as what step they would be. Is the assumption that it would be step 1 automatically, or is there a reason why that's omitted?
Which item are you looking at exactly?
It would be Exhibit A, new personnel appointments, academic temporary part-time substitute staff on item 2, and then it continues on all the way through B.
Yes.
Same kind of thing where it lists where their approximate salary replacement would be, but in some cases it appears to be a very broad range. And I just wanted to know what.
The first letter is the column, and then there's a slash, and then the next one is a step in that area.
So that one, that is a 1, not a Roman numeral.
Yes.
1. Okay, so I read it as.
And it's not necessarily a bad assumption on your part. It's just very confusing in
Got
regards
it.
to how we do the documents.
So where it says 5/1, that's step 1 over on 5. It's not a range.
It'd be column 5.
Gotcha.
Yes. Yes.
All right. That was on my only clarification on that.
Yes.
Right.
Each column would represent a different level of academic
Gotcha.
achievement.
No, I get that. All right. Trustee Jamal?
I think Trustee Prendergast covered the issue. I did have a discussion with Vice Chancellor Fitzsimmons and Vice Chancellor Bouguet about what we're calling stipends. And my understanding is that there's going to be some 5-year history of these. What's the formal term of extra duty? What's the formal terminology for these payments?
Stipends.
Okay, so I was using it correctly.
Yes, you were.
So they're going to go back, I think, 5 years and provide us an analysis of the amount of stipends that are being provided at IVC and Saddleback.
Yes.
Thank you.
Trustee Wright?
My comment concerns Jane Rosencrantz. I notice her name is in there, and I just wanted to applaud her. She's been the Dean of Enrollment Services, Office of Admissions Records and Student Services for 16 years,
Yes.
and she'll be sorely missed.
Oh, yeah. Yes, she
Yeah.
will.
I noticed that too, and we will miss her at Saddleback College.
Okay. Did we have a motion on this already? Okay. It's been so long. All right. Seeing no more requests to speak, we'll go ahead and vote on the item. We have a unanimous yes vote, 1 trustee absent, and 1 student advisory yes vote. Item 6.11, classified personnel actions.
There's 3 different changes I'd like to make to this item.
Okay.
On page 14, on page 14, B4 through B9, we'd like to have those items pulled.
Okay. So deleting those.
Yes, totally deleted them. And then on the next page, on item 4 through 9. Yes, sir.
Yeah, our computers don't scroll that fast.
My apologies.
All right, so page 14, B 4 through 9, so 6 positions total
Yes.
being withdrawn. And then you said what was next?
On page 15, item C1A, we want to change the date from July 1st, 2015 to January 1st, 2015. And then underneath that, the corresponding date for C1AI. Change that from July to January. Underneath C1A from July to January, and then underneath that where it says change Courtney Rice and so on, that date would also change from July to January.
All right. Okay, I have a motion from Trustee Lang, second from Trustee Jamal. Seeing no further requests to speak, go ahead and vote on the item. Unanimous yes vote, 1 trustee absent, 1 student advisory yes vote. 6.12, bonded sabbatical recommendations. Is there any information on this besides what we have? Okay. Motion from Trustee Lang, second from Trustee Wright. Request to speak from Trustee Jamal.
I think we had an email.
Mike.
Sorry.
Is it
I think we had a little email exchange on this, on the issue of the sabbaticals, and I'm just curious the rate of acceptance of the sabbatical proposals was nearly 100%. Is that pretty typical over the last looking back the last few years?
What the board is seeing is almost 100%. There were 33 semesters requested, and the board is being presented with 32 semesters to actually approve. During the sabbatical process, we went back, looked over the history of it. Our sabbatical committee tends to be relatively tough when it looks at the proposals. There were 14 proposals returned to the original peoples, directing them to provide modifications of them to meet the parameters within the contract. So the committee did return a number of them back. The faculty members modified the proposals, and then two of those proposals were sent back again for more information. So the committee is pretty rigorous. So by the time you see them, a lot of the issues are fleshed out and they're more thorough and complete. So the committee did review them, and so what you're seeing now is a result of some work by the committee.
Thank you.
So it'll always be 100% for us.
Yes. There's some vetting that happens behind the scenes.
So, Trustee Milchiker.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I attended several presentations of sabbatical projects that were done during the In-Service Third Professional Development Week, and I found them very interesting. In the past, many years ago, we had some of the sabbatical presentations were given to the board, so I think the board could discuss if we want to hear some of those too. I thought they were interesting, and we can learn what the faculty learns and how valuable it is to us and to our students. So thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Trustee Lang.
And also just to Trustee Jamal's comment, it is apparent, I think, to at least some of us that despite there being a high, maybe the committee sending it back multiple times, there is still quite a bit of variance in the degree of rigor, at least that I've observed in looking at the different projects. Yes, I'll leave it at that.
All right. With that, Trustee Wright.
I just wanted to comment. I did do an analysis. There were 15 from Saddleback and 9 from IVC, so I thought that was represents the difference in faculty members at both schools.
Okay. Seeing no more requests to speak, we'll go ahead and vote on the item. We have a unanimous yes vote, 1 trustee absent, 1 student advisory abstention. Moving on to report 7.1, Saddleback College and Irvine Valley College grants proposal process. This is a response to a board report requested by Trustee Lang. Both colleges are supposedly giving us a presentation? No? A joint it was just a written report that we've got. Okay. Did I have a request to speak from Trustee Jamal?
I'll let Trustee Lang speak first. It was his report request.
The only thing that I was going to say is I very much appreciated the report. I thought there was a lot of great information in here. I frankly haven't even had a chance to fully absorb everything that you've presented to me in this report, but it did enlighten me in terms of what the grant process was and the considerations that go into this, and made me feel at least a little bit more comfortable that there is significant thought that goes into whether we're going to pursue or not pursue a grant, what kind of grant it is it in furtherance of the college's missions, and so forth and so on. So appreciate all the input on this.
All right. Trustee Jamal.
Just a couple of points. First, I'm a big proponent of seeking grants and support our programs and augment what we're doing here, both at the district level and for both colleges. what I'm thinking about, and maybe this addresses the two college presidents here. One of the things that I saw in the report was the informal nature of coordination between IVC and Saddleback when it comes to seeking and applying seeking grant funding and applying for grant funding. I'm seeing a trend of regionalization, as I think both of you are. We have significant efforts underway at the state level and the federal level to provide regional grants, and that means consortiums of not only colleges but between districts and between K through 12 and secondary education as well. So, is there anything you can say to address that, maybe to make it less informal in the grant process between the two colleges, and so that there's more coordination between IVC and Saddleback? And then my second question is, what's the role of the district in this process? Because we are a multi-college district, and it seems to me that if grants are becoming regional, there's more regional grant funding opportunities. Shouldn't the district play a greater role in this process and have some capacity in terms of the grants process?
I'll start. How's that? And obviously President Rockmore and maybe even Deborah Fitzsimmons wants to chime in. First off, you are correct in that we are finding that grants at the local, state, and national level are increasingly, if not almost all of them, requiring some kind of a collaboration, partnership from all respects. So that is absolutely correct, and that's very exciting. Second, with that, regarding IVC and Saddleback, we both, on either side, depending on the grant, of course, every grant is different. Some grants apply to each of us individually. Many grants, if not most grants, apply to us together, but more importantly, outside of our district with partners out there. So our grants folks, our deans, our vice presidents, all of us are frequently talking about opportunities and how best we can maximize a joint application, a collaborative effort for that. So that does happen. Regarding the district, I should just keep going. Regarding the district's role, the district, once again, typically most all, in fact, I think all, is it all, Deborah? All grants are actually through the actual district. We as a college apply, but the technical legal authority is, of course, our district. So through the process, which you don't need to trouble you with the details, but when we apply for a grant, it really is most of the time from our district that actually is sending
I get
the application.
that. They're the fiscal agent or fiscal
Right.
sponsor.
Well,
I understand that. What I meant was, is it make any sense at some point, not in the immediate future, but over the long term, to have capacity to write grants, identify grants at the district level, since there is a move to regionalization and regional consortia?
Sure.
More of a long-term
Sure.
look at-
Some districts actually do their district has even a grants unit sometimes, because I think Saddleback and IVC have such a very capable grant writing unit, and oftentimes we are bringing in, in fact, we just wrote one where district IT was involved with us at Saddleback on a particular grant that they help with, and there's great support. But I think in answer to your question, I think you're getting at, and maybe the Chancellor or Robert Mucci might want to respond regarding a district-wide or a district services grant presence. You want to answer that too?
Well, just to add a little bit, I think it's very grant dependent. Is currently the majority of the grants are to serve a college function. Now, there are more grants that are starting to emerge that can expand beyond that, as you've suggested. So certainly when those opportunities arise, we should take a look at those. But the way it is traditionally is that they have been in the past traditionally set up to support the activities at a college campus.
Anybody from the district?
I just would like to add that we have gone through a business process analysis, like we've done with many other functions for the Workday project, and a lot of areas were identified where we can improve, and it was well attended, 3 whole days where folks had all contributed in various sectors of the grant process, from proposal writing all the way through to close out of a grant. And so folks are working really well together and working through those issues. And I know at the end of this project that things will be really much approved, and already we're seeing a lot of coordination and communication between all the different parties. So I can say that.
Okay, Kathy.
Kathy Schmeidler, excuse me, Kathy Schmeidler, Academic Senate President at IVC. We are the district, so when the two colleges cooperate with each other, the district is doing it. District services are engaged, I think, in the processes where they're helpful and at the times and places where they're helpful. But at least in my experience, working with grants myself and with my colleagues, it seems to me that a shallower rather than a steeper or deeper administrative structure is better. So having more layers doesn't usually help, although there are places, of course, where having that extra support at the district services is necessary, important, wonderful, good. Most of the grant work, certainly the conceptualizing of the grant and working out the details, really should be done, I think, mostly by the people who are actually going to be involved in doing the grant's work. And that would be people at one or both colleges cooperating with each other, and that's what we've been seeing. But remember that if both of the colleges are working together, then that is the district. Thank you.
Trustee Lang.
Yes, I think Kathy largely made the point that I was going to make, and that is that I think historically in our district, the personnel that staffed the grant-making capability has fluctuated between the district and the colleges over the years. And I do think that it's important, at least, that the colleges have that capability because they're going to be, in many cases, a lot closer. I think you want them taking ownership of the grants, particularly where it's, their folks, their faculty that are going to be working on these projects. But we certainly have to have the capability where it is a collaborative situation to be able to work on these things together. So, in terms of centralizing personnel on this thing, I'm not sure if that's a good idea or not.
Okay. Moving on to 7.2, Saddleback College and IVC speakers. Any comments or requests to speak on those? No? 7.3, Basic Aid Report.
No changes since last month.
7.4, Facilities Plan Status Report. 7.5, Monthly Financial Status Report. 7.6, Quarterly Financial Status Report. 7.7, Retiree OPEB Trust Fund. Okay, moving on to 8.0, reports from administration and government groups, starting off with Saddleback College Academic Senate.
Dan Walsh. Other than thank you for approving my sabbatical leave, no report.
And it was approved the first time, right? All right.
No changes.
Faculty Association.
No report tonight, thank you.
IVC Academic Senate.
Kathy Schmeidler, other than approving Dan Walsh's sabbatical the first time. Yay. No report. Thank you.
Okay. Associate Vice Chancellor Economic Development is not here. Vice Chancellor Technology and Learning Services.
It's not technically a grant, but I thought I would highlight some recent work that I think typifies some of the collaboration across the district. Governor Brown made $50 million available as part of an innovation award, not a grant. And so we all cooperated, Saddleback and especially the grants office, Roxanne Metz, Edward Della O, along with some technical folks in IT, particularly Jim Gaston, Denise Insiong, as well as IVC. I'd like to thank President Rockmore for his vigorous efforts in securing letters of support for that award. There are 57 applications coming from the California Community Colleges, the CSU system, and the UC system. I've reviewed the abstracts, and I think ours was held in very good stead, and we look forward to the funding announcements.
Great. Vice Chancellor Human Resources.
No report.
Vice Chancellor Business Services.
I thought I'd give you just a few highlights for what's been happening at the ATEP site. The development framework that we've been working on for the entire site is near completion, and we're bringing it to the board in the near future, probably at the March board meeting, and that will help lay out the site for future development. The demolition project is moving forward as anticipated and scheduled to be completed in early March. Over the last month, we've already demoed the dormitory building, one of the dormitory buildings, and 3 other buildings are cited to be demoed. We've also cleared them of hazardous waste, asbestos floor tile, etc., and they're scheduled for demo very, very soon. We've been doing on-site site work, including working on a storm drain line, and it's near completion. And we've also installed fencing around the IVC maintenance yard for security purposes. We've been working on scope for creating a utility infrastructure to support the first building as well as for the entire site. And we've been making excellent progress on the design criteria for IVC's first building at ATEP. And that phase of the planning is expected to be completed next month with the search process for a design build team to start in February as well. So lots of progress being made since the last time we talked to you.
Thank you. IVC Classified Senate.
Vincent Cooper, IVC Classified Senate President. Special recognition to Diane Oakes and Karen Orlando for their leadership in organizing the astounding inventions. It went very well. Classified staff and faculty stepped in and did a wonderful job. I'd also like to thank Dr. Rockmore for his support during Professional Development Week. He put on a great lunch for us. We had some outstanding lasagna, and so that was great. Plus, we had a nice question and answer session with President Rockmore and really went over a lot of details with the staff, so that was an outstanding moment for us. So thank you very much.
Great. CSEA.
Thank you, Mr. President. Scott Ferguson Green, President, CSEA, Chapter 586. First of all, we'd like to thank the board for expressing concern over the full-time positions being into part-time positions, that they actually have that concern. We'd like to thank Trustee Jay for the compliments of the classified staff. We really appreciate that. One of the things that we are definitely in support of is to maintain the full-time positions as much as possible. We are working with the district to understand exactly their particular positions, but we want to be very cooperative in expressing our particular position and trying to maintain the full-time positions as much as possible, because in order to continue with the services to the students, we have to have those that are very familiar with the jobs, and those that are usually full-time employees. So we would like to see that both be maintained and increase, as well as adding to the bargaining unit. Very recently, I was up in Sacramento attending the Membership Unity Program training, and what that is where CSEA provides training to the teams that actually are selected to go up there and to get more members involved. More members involved in all sorts of activities, including political activities. And what I mean by political activities that involved education and those that have social meaning. And so we're trying to get more and more of our chapter members across the state to be more politically and socially active with some of the issues that are going on around the state. We know that Prop 30 will be expiring in 2016. We're hoping that the voters will extend Prop 16 or come up with a bond to vote on, so that, again, the the funding for education will be extended so it can benefit all those across the state. Thank you.
Okay. Saddleback College Classified Senate.
Thank you. Good evening. Mike Sauter, Classified Senate President for Saddleback College. Scott, well put about the report that the board asked for, and thank you, Member Jay, for your words of support for classified staff. Classified Senate bylaws state our mission statement and our purpose, and I wanted to bring a couple of those points to your attention tonight. One of our stated purposes is to support the professionalism of all classified professionals. And with that, I would like to acknowledge and commend the board for the decision to promote classified positions or classified personnel to academic positions at Saddleback College, and congratulate those deserved employees as well. We appreciate that, and we wish them good luck. I'd also like to mention the recent temporary position. I think she's an intern, but Dr.
Ortega over at Saddleback, who was recently moved from the district to Saddleback as the interim, I believe it is, research analyst, director of research. Thank you. So good luck to her. Congratulations. Another classified employee moving up through the ranks. Another of our stated purposes is to encourage individual leadership, contribution, and development among the members of Classified Senate. And the Classified Senate has worked really hard in promoting the educational opportunities of Classified and for them to further their education. And I'd like to announce tonight, through the efforts of Classified fundraising efforts over the last couple of years, Classified Senate scholarship for employees. We now have 2 $500 scholarships for employees, and that is being announced here tonight and will open up officially tomorrow to classified employees for their applications to further their education. Also, I'd like to announce that the Classified Senate is supporting our first ever student scholarship with a $500 award for a deserved student at Saddleback College who is continuing their education, and that will be included in this year's scholarship award ceremony. And with that, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Tonight we adjourn our meeting in memory of Dick Stutz, devoted employee, colleague, and legendary coach at Saddleback College since 1969. We also mourn the tragic loss of 2 Saddleback nursing students, first semester student Sandra Schultz and fourth semester student Kirsten Hopkin. A support group has been set up for nursing students. Our thoughts and prayers go out to their families, colleagues, and friends. Thank you and good evening.